The Labour Party is engulfed in a fresh crisis as Peter Obi, the party's 2023 presidential candidate, has rejected a peace deal brokered by his former running mate, Dr. Datti Baba-Ahmed. The party's national chairman, Julius Abure, here's what's happening. Now, Datti Baba-Ahmed met with Abure's faction to discuss reconciliation and unity within the party. However, Obi's camp has distanced itself from the meeting, questioning its legitimacy.
Listen to the coalition attempts, yet I still remain in Labour Party. I am not one to sleepwalk into any political arrangements. I call on all well-meaning politicians and members of Labour Party not to sleepwalk and allow themselves to be led into what they still are not comfortable with. I must say, in the past, a coalition was made, and in the past, a sitting Nigerian government was voted out. I note with pleasure that this is what we as Labour Party did in 2023 and what we are about to do again in 2027. I note again that the coalition genuinely plans and intends to vote out the misruling APC. However, the government that follows is even more important than the act of removing a government itself. A government was removed, and what followed after was disaster.
Well, Kennedy Ahanotu is the national youth leader of the Labour Party. He joins me now virtually to discuss this. Thank you so much for your time, Kennedy. It's great to have you again.
Good evening, Doctor. How are you doing today?
I am very well. I believe you are too. Let's get into the Let's get into the crux of this. I mean, this meeting that happened, reconciliation meeting. Can you just, walk us through what exactly was the objective of, the meeting and maybe those that were in attendance?
Well, if you have followed the trend of things, all this for the past 1 year, you must have heard Barrister Julius Abure always maintaining and saying that the Labour Party doors are open for every member, including those that feel offended or feel slighted or not happy with one policy or the other or one activity or the other, that the party is open for reconciliation. So, and there's no division as far as I'm concerned. We have leaders, we have presidential candidates, we have vice presidential candidates, and we have a lot of leaders in the party. And any day any of them comes to the party gate is wide open. It's not a public, it shouldn't be a public thing that a leader of a particular political party visited a political party that he belongs. Like our vice presidential candidate in 2003.
Mr. Kennedy Ahanotu, can you hear me? I think we have a bit of difficulty there trying to connect with Kennedy Ahanotu. Let me just take you through what exactly the context of our conversation at this time is. The Labour Party did hold a reconciliatory meeting, to sort of walk through its crisis or its perceived internal crisis. But from what we've seen, it appears the Peter Obi team decided to distance itself from this meeting. The Labour Party has actually been engulfed in a bit of internal crisis since the 2023, after the 2023 general elections. And we've seen several attempts at trying to sort of foster unity, while some, will claim that there is, a supposed Abure faction, Julius Abure faction. There's another who would say, maybe, an Alex Oti / Peter Obi faction, while some will say there's a Lamidi Apapa faction. But Ahead of the 2027 polls, there are big questions being asked as to the implication of this for the chances of the party if it doesn't get its house in order. But I understand we have Kennedy back. Kennedy, it's great to have you back.
Sorry, I've corrected what happened anyway.
All right, please speak up.
So the party welcomed Datti in our NEC meeting yesterday. Of course, we had a NEC meeting yesterday, and His Excellency Dr. Datti Baba-Ahmed was in attendance. And in that meeting, he told us that he has come as a loyal son of Labour Party, and that it's difficult for him to walk away from the party that has scored over 10 million votes, even though 6.1 was declared, and that he is going to kickstart a reconciliation among those that felt maybe they were not treated well, or those that have different grievances. And that is what leadership for me should be all about.
All right. So, but right now, what we understand is that the Peter Obi team sort of distanced itself from this meeting, even though we know that this meeting was blocked by Mr. Datti, who was Peter Obi's running mate in 2023 elections. I mean, do you have any idea why this happened?
I've not heard that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, who also I believe is a very peace-loving man, I've not heard that he rejected such a peaceful movement. I have not heard him, even in the past, I've not heard where he rejected any peace movement. So I am not very sure of what you are talking about. And if you can remember, the person you mentioned that spoke that is no longer his spokesperson. He's rather having another assignment as the Director General of a support group. So he is not in the best position to even speak for His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. He may be speaking for his support group that he's heading, and that is what I think.
So for now, that position is an unconfirmed position.
I have not confirmed it, and there's no genuine confirmation that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi have turned down peace advances.
But is it really looking, I mean, just for Nigerians that are watching this, how soon, if at all, do you think, as a party member and, you know, an official within the party, I mean, all of this internal crisis, the perceived factions, 2027 is just around the corner. Are we seeing an end to this anytime soon?
Well, depending on what you're seeing, but from where I'm standing, some of this crisis has come to an end. It's just, for me, I feel that some individuals is now pride and ego that is playing out. Because if the courts have washed their hand off and said, go back into your house, then the question is, who has come to the house? For example, yesterday you saw us in the party national secretariat, which is where we have been for the past 1 year, and the NEC meeting held there. So you can't be comparing a NEC meeting held by party organs, made up of the NWC, made up of some party leaders that were invited, made up of some, all the state chairmen and secretary. You can't compare it to a meeting of some members of Abia state government held in a hotel. So the party has been strategizing, the party has been planning ahead of 2027. So the earlier the big man comes to join to build a party, the better for all of us in preparation of 2027.
I'm going to pick, you know, some bullet points from what you said. You said what we are seeing playing out is more of ego than maybe ego followed by maybe some interest as against, you know, a collective good. And you said the earlier the big men, you know, come together and put all of this behind and then work together as a united force ahead, the better for the party. I'd like you to, please, who are these big men exactly? And these individuals whose ego seems larger, according to you, than the party?
look, therefore, the truth is that politics is about interest, and there are a lot of interests that have really been, playing out. So we have a lot of senators, we have a lot of House of Representatives, we have a governor who recently now chairs a NEC meeting. Is abnormal. So, and we have presidential candidate, we have presidential candidate, and we have the vice presidential candidate. Of course, the vice presidential candidate has come into the room yesterday. You saw him, everybody saw him, and he was well received, and he was happy. He attended and united with the party members, the NEC members. So I don't know how else you want me to mention. We have a lot of people that ran an election under the party. We had a lot of people in the National Assembly. All of them are big men. The earlier they come back to the party and obey the party constitution, the better for everybody. All
right, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll dig deeper, into this conversation and look at this, in light with the new force, which is the ADC, and the implication of this ahead of 2027 for the Labour Party. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have Kennedy Ahanotu, National Youth Leader of the Labour Party, joins virtually from Abuja. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying with me. All right, Kennedy, let's look at, what I call it, the new force, the ADC, particularly subsuming it to the coalition. Right now, we are beginning to see a gale of defection from parties across to this coalition platform called the ADC. And there was a general meeting where the presidential candidate of your party, that's Labour Party, was there. And there are a lot of talks as regards, the implication of this, in lieu of 2027. As a member of the Labour Party, I just want to ask you, with the ADC right now on board, are you jittery?
Jittery about ADC?
As the new coalition platform, where all opposition politicians seems to be moving to.
Come on, therefore, I am not threatened, and the party is in no way moved by the gathering of those who have squandered the common resources of Nigeria. If you make me a governor of Imo State and I cannot do anything for 4 years, is it when you make me governor after 10 years or 15 years after that I will be able to deliver? For example, His Excellency David Mark was, let's forget about the fact that he was a governor and he was a minister even at the age of 35, 36, 37. He was a Senate president for 8 years. And today Nigeria is still battling for electoral issues. Nigeria is still battling with the constitutional amendment issues, which started during his tenure as a Senate president. I find it difficult to believe leaders who, after their tenure, they begin to think that they can do something different from what they have done. Most of them in the ADC are the ones that put Nigeria where it is today. Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency, the former Vice President of Nigeria, was the one that introduced Buhari to us. Him with Dino Melele. All of them you see in that room were the one that introduced the government of APC. And eventually, they now felt they have to move back to PDP, and eventually, they now feel they have to move into ADC. What I see playing out is that some of these career politicians, they are always not comfortable when they are out of power. And I feel it's unfortunate. People should begin to think of consultancy. People should begin to think of mentorship. People should begin to think of businesses. People should begin to think of training the younger ones to emerge. I've not seen them thinking about making a young man of 35, 40 years their presidential flag bearer. Rather, they are sitting down in the room to still discuss how to share our common resources.
All right.
I assure you that the only thing they are discussing in ADC right now is who will become the presidential candidate, who will become the vice presidential candidate, who will become Minister of Defense, who will become Minister of Interior, who will become Minister of this and that.
And that will lead me to my next question, Kennedy. Talking about positions there, I mean, there are quite a couple of permutations and speculations going around, because we also know that your presidential candidate in 2023, Peter Obi, attended that meeting, and there's a lot of talk as regards the party, that's ADC, nominating him as their presidential or preferred, presidential candidate. Even though Peter Obi has not said officially that he has defected, but for many Nigerians, they feel his exit from your party might just signal the end of it. What's your take?
We don't need to preempt such an individual like His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. His style of politics, many people may not understand it. And moreover, I am not his official spokesperson. So I think he's entitled to associate with whomever he wants to associate with any group he wants to associate with. But I can assure you that at this moment, I belong to the highest decision-making body of the Labour Party. I have not cited his resignation letter. And eventually, last 2 weeks thereabout, he was in Anambra State, where he campaigned vigorously for our governorship candidate, Chief George Moralo, who is going to become the next governor of Anambra State. He campaigned vigorously for him. Of course, he clarified some of these things, that he's still a member of the Labour Party, even though he attended some meetings. Of course, as a prominent Nigerian, he is qualified to be invited by any group, and is entitled, but constitutional matters are constitutional matters. You cannot join two political parties at the same time. You can only join one. So as of today, as at this moment I'm talking to you, I'm not aware that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi have left the Labour Party.
All right. Just also staying on this, we are seeing a lot of back and forth between, what I call it, the Edo State government and the Peter Obi team, as a result of the fallout of his visit from the state, where the governor of the state is still insisting that should he choose to come back to the state, he has to be, informed, he has to be aware of it, even though there are claims that his last visit, brought about violence and certain persons died and all of that. What's your reaction to this?
Well, the first reaction from me is that reaction from the governor and government of Edo State is highly unconstitutional and is condemnable, and I condemn it as a young man, because I don't think that as a free citizen that there's a restriction for you in every part of this country. Of course, I have similar experience. And after our 2023 presidential election, I was called by my people who told me that I shouldn't enter Lagos, that my pictures and the video is spread across the parks and everywhere in Lagos, and that there may be possible attack on me. And truly, 6 months I did not go to Lagos, even though I've frequented Lagos for some time now, and nothing happened to me. But, this brings us to a point where we now begin to look at Nigeria as a country of lawlessness. A citizen has right to live and work and interact in every part of this country. But because leadership is now an all-comers affair, and anybody that you make a governor will make himself a god. And you make somebody a president, he makes himself a god, which is not correct and is not supposed to be so. I don't see any reason, why the governor should be threatening a citizen, no matter the hate, no matter the interest, no matter how much you don't like what he's doing, or he's a free citizen. And I think men of goodwill should join other Nigerians to call the governor to order. No matter the grievances, no matter the quarrel, no matter the issue, we must be able to stand together when an injustice is being meted to one person, because an injustice to one is an injustice to all. It may be a threat to His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi today. Tomorrow it may be a threat to somebody else. So we should be careful when we celebrate such kind of assertions made by an executive governor.
All right, Mr. Ahanotu, before I let you go, another thing that has been generating a lot of buzz is the visit of your party's chairman to the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike. Even though, Barrister Julius Abure said that it was basically on, on private matters, but many are beginning to question what exactly could be, if at all, the alliance or the connection between both of them. So I would like you to speak on this. You belong to the highest decision-making body of the party, as you have said. What exactly is the context of this visit?
Well, I'm happy that you mentioned that Barrister Julius Abure stated that it's a private visit. And I know that as a national chairman of a party, there could be many reasons that may make him to visit the FCT minister, who is not just FCT minister for a particular political party. He's FCT minister for Nigerians. And as the last time I checked, as a citizen of this country, you are free to even visit Mr. President to tell him or to tell him something or to share an idea that you have. In a clan where democracy works, opposition is not enmity. Opposition does not represent war. Opposition is constructive criticism. We may differ in the area of ideology, in the area of philosophy, but we are the same as a citizen of the same country. Barrister Julius Abure is the national chairman of the Labour Party, and he may have gone there to even discuss the tournament rate of our national secretariat that is situated in the Nigerian capital, national capital, which is the FCT. So there are a lot of reasons that could have made Barrister Julius Abure to visit His Excellency Nyesom Wike, who is the current minister of the FCT. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just that we are in a country where we suspect ourselves, we suspect the water we drink, we suspect even the chair we are sitting, we even suspect our wife. That is the country where we find ourselves. So if you see me tomorrow, okay, yesterday, a lot of people saw a picture with one of the coalition members, Dino Melea, with the son of Mr. President. Does that mean that they are now working together? No. They can visit themselves. People can still be friends. It was in this country that we have a family that a father is a governor under a different political party and a son is a senator under another political party. Even His Excellency, the current president, at some point, his wife was in a different political party, a senator, and he was in another political party. We must begin to play politics of decency, not politics of hatred. We must begin to show the world that what we are bringing on board is policy that will be more better to the people, that will serve the people better than what we have.
So, just for the benefit of Nigerians, are you confirming that his visit had nothing to do with the party issues or within the context of the political party?
I said that his visit to Nyesom Wike is private. And I said, as a man, I'm bound to trust what he said, and that was it, and that is how I believe it. And I don't believe he has anything to do with the party. And he's a free citizen. He's free to visit whoever he wants to visit. He's a national chairman of the party.
All right. Thank you so much for your time on the program. It's been a privilege having you speak with us. Thank you so much, Prince Kennedy Ahanotu, as the Labour Party youth leader. Once again, thank you for your time.